how you doing, everybody? What I want to do is go over the bone tissue model, or the osseous tissue. It's going to be this model here. Okay. And I also use this one as well. But before I go over like two handful of terms that you have to know with these models, let me just give you a little background on the bone itself and the importance of bone in our body. So I'm going to give you 5 primary functions, go over this system, and then eventually at the end I'm going to give you a little bit of a little clinical application of the bone system. So the first function is support. The skeletal system provides structural support for the entire body. Individuals' bones or groups of bones provide a framework for the attachment of soft tissue and organs. Number 2, storage of minerals and lipids. Minerals are inorganic ions that contribute to the osmotic concentration of body fluids. Minerals also take part in various psychological processes. Calcium is the most abundant mineral in the human body. Calcium salts of bone are a valuable mineral reserve that maintain normal concentrations of calcium and phosphate ions in body fluids. In addition, the bones of the skeleton store energy as lipids in areas called yellow bone marrow. Number 3, blood cell production. Red blood cells, white blood cells, and other blood elements are produced in red bone marrow, which fills the internal cavities of many bones. Number 4, protection. Skeletal structures surround many soft tissues and organs. The ribs protect the heart and lungs, the skull encloses the brain, and the vertebrae shield the spinal cord, and the pelvis cradles the reproductive and digestive organs. Number 5, leverage. Many bones function as levers that can change the magnitude and direction of the forces generated by skeletal muscles. The movements produced range from the precise motion of a fingertip to changes in the position of the entire human body. Okay? For the bone here, you're going to go there. So they act like little levers. Okay, so just wanted to give you a little background on the importance of the bones. And the tissue that does that for us is the bone tissue. Okay, so that would be this model here. All right. So let's go over some components. Okay, so basically this model is a wedge shape of a long bone. So you get a long bone, which has a marrow cavity, which has it's like a straw, but with a very thick wall. So you get a little triangle piece or a wedge shape of that bone, and you get this model right here. Okay, you put about like 10 models of these together, and it'll form a cylinder with a marrow cavity in the middle. Okay, the outer part of the bone is the periosteum. This is the white of the bone. So when you look at bone, you see the white? That's the periosteum. Now the inner lining of the marrow cavity is called the endosteum, which is this gray lining right here. Okay. All right, so that's the periosteum and endosteum. Now in between the periosteum and endosteum, you have the compact bone, which is also referred to as a matrix, and that matrix has a bunch of structures within it. But the actual physical part of it is called the compact bone. And in the middle here, you have the spongy bone. Now this spongy bone goes into the marrow cavity, forms these like lattices or networks or meshwork, which is called trabeculae. So the spongy bone, you put it together, it's called trabeculae of spongy bone. Okay, and the spongy bone is made up of the endosteum as well as these sheet of bones called lamella. Okay, now let's look into these lamellas. The lamellas are 3 different types. Okay, we have the concentric lamella, which are these, which are part of the osteon or the Haversian system, which we'll see more in detail with this model. Okay. Concentric lamella. We have the interstitial lamella, which are these incomplete pieces of osteons. And then finally, so we have concentric, interstitial, and then we have circumferential lamella. Circumferential lamella go around the circumference of the entire bone. Now there's actually 2 types of circumferential lamella. We have the external circumferential lamella and the internal circumferential lamella. But the 3 types are concentric, interstitial, and circumferential. Okay, let's look at this other part here. You know that the calcium and phosphorus has to come from the bloodstream into the bone. So it's going to have to be coming via a blood vessel. And this blood vessel goes through the bone, right here, and through canals, which are called Volkmann canals or perforating canals. Perforating canals are horizontal, okay? And going perpendicular to those horizontal perforating canals, or Volkmann canals, if you think of Volkswagens, Volkmann canals, are these central canals. Central canals go straight up and down, okay? And that will also provide the calcium and phosphorus that will be deposited into the bone, and vice versa. The calcium and phosphorus in the bone will go into the blood and go the opposite direction. All right, so we got our two canals there. And now we have here, these are called perforating fibers. Perforating fibers connect the periosteum, which is the white of the bone, to the compact bone. Okay, hold it together. All right, so let's get into the osteon itself. Okay, the osteon is the functional unit of bone. The osteon is made up of 5 structures. Okay, we have the central canal, we already mentioned that. We have the concentric lamella, which are each one of these sheets that go around and form a circle. We have the lacuna, which is a little depression right there. The lacuna means crib. It's like a crib, lacuna in Spanish. It means the crib. And that crib is going to hold on to the bone cells, the osteocytes, the osteoclasts, the osteoblasts. Okay? The last one's going to be the, you can't see it? Okay, right here. These are called canaliculi. These radiating lines from the central canal, much like the rays of a sun, extend from the sun. Okay? Okay, so the canaliculi is like a little canal that allows the connection of the osteocytes to each other. Now let's look at this one model one more time and review the 5 different parts of the osteon. Okay? In general. Here we have the central canal. Each one of these rings is a concentric lamella. This little depression is called the lacuna. You don't see it here, but you have osteocytes that sit inside the lacuna. Oh, yes you do, right there. Little blue ones. Osteocytes, right there. And let me see, oh look, some more out here, osteocytes. Okay. And then finally, the legs of those osteocytes, see those little legs? They're sitting within the canaliculi, which are these radiating lines that extend from the central canal. Okay? So those are the 5 parts of the osteon or the Haversian system. Okay? All right. Okay, now let me finalize this video with just going over a clinical application of the of what happens to bones after a period of time. Okay? As we age, our bones change. They become weaker and thinner, and they produce less collagen, and are therefore less flexible. Calcium levels in the bone matrix decline, resulting in brittle bones. Osteopenia is the natural age-related loss of bone mass that begins as early as 30 to 40 years of age in some individuals. The loss is a result of a gradual decline in the rate of bone rebuilding by osteoblasts. Bone degeneration beyond normal loss is called osteoporosis and affects the epiphysis of long bones, vertebra, and jaws, and leads to weak limbs, decrease in height, and loss of teeth. Bone fractures are common as spongy bones become more porous and unable to withstand stress. Osteoporosis is more common in women, with 29% of women ages 45 years or older having osteoporosis, but only 18% of male age 45 or older have this condition. And I have a theory about that. I think since women have to produce babies, from what I remember a teacher saying, a lot of calcium is taken out of their bones and they have a harder hit than males do. Okay, osteoporosis is associated with age-related decline in circulating sex hormones in the blood. Sex hormones stimulate osteoblasts to deposit calcium into new bone matrix. In menopausal women, decreasing levels of estrogen slow osteoblast activity, and one result is bone loss. As men age, hormone levels decline more gradually than in women, and as a result, most men are able to maintain a healthy bone mass. Exercising more and consuming adequate amounts of calcium can reduce the rate of bone degeneration and occurrence of osteoporosis in both men and women. However, increasing calcium intake is not enough to prevent osteoporosis. New bone matrix must be produced in order to maintain bone density. Hormone replacement therapy is sometimes prescribed to promote new bone growth in postmenopausal women. Unfortunately, many studies link hormone replacement therapy with blood clots in the lungs, uterine cancer, and other clinical complications. But hopefully I gave you a good, well-rounded video here to understand bone tissue model, any points in my body. Well, hope you like this video. Make sure to subscribe to my page. If you have any questions or comments, something you like or dislike in this video, let me know. And look forward to the next video. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. Until the next one. Bye-bye.